So, a few days ago, Chris, or as most of you will know him as First Man, announced that he was leaving the self improvement men's lifestyle space. So, before I get into this video and kind of recapping what Chris said and my reaction to him leaving the space, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Chris, First Man, for all your content. If you are watching this video, I hope it does reach you. Your videos, such as the male advantage, balling on a budget, the other side of male life, really have helped me and changed my perspective on life and what is really possible. I've never really seen anyone make that type of content, so I really think he has been massive in the self-improvement space and probably hasn't got the recognition he deserves, and definitely the amount of subscribers he has. He should be way bigger than he is. So real big thanks to Chris for all his help, and I'm sure everyone who watches content would agree with me that it's really changed my life and changed a lot of perspective of what you think is possible. So I'm assuming you have probably watched the video if you're watching this video now. So I'm not going to repeat everything about what he said. I'm just going to kind of go through the main points and main takes that I took from his video and give my reaction to him leaving and the points he made. So the main point that he wanted to leave what the self-improvement space due to the fact is that he feels that a lot of people become very fake, particularly when it becomes to the amount of wealth people say they have. He specifically mentioned Iman Gadzhi and the Tates in his videos, I feel like, which is somewhat valid. I definitely think that the way they kind of portray themselves and whether they have as much money as they say they have, I obviously don't know, but is probably not the best kind of thing for them to kind of say, especially when the audience that they have, the size of the audience that they have, and the kind of viewer age that a lot of these guys have. Because you've got to think that a lot of people like Iman, the Tates, Hamza, a lot of their audience are under the age of 18, maybe slightly older. Whereas someone like Chris, First Man, I think he said that his average age was around about 25, so he caters for a lot of a kind of more experienced audience who would probably have experienced actual things in their life. They've been into the real world and know what it's like, as Chris has. Whereas people like Eman, he hasn't really like been in the, well, he's never really like worked a proper job or anything like that. So it's very easy for him to say, oh yeah, just do this course and then do all these methods of online income to all these 16-year-olds. I don't really think it can leave a lot of young people very disillusional. He said about men selling $100 courses, which it sounds like he was very much referring to someone like Hamza, who brought out his Adonis school, Adonis Academy, I'm not too sure what it's called, and has been selling a lot of courses. I remember before he brought out his school for hundreds of dollars, which I personally think is a scam, really, when you think about it. Maybe if I don't blame these younger guys for buying these courses, because if I was their age, I would probably do the same thing. And I honestly don't think there is nowhere near as big of a scam as something at university. And I'm sure there is a lot of value in these courses. However, a lot of this information is just recycled and is just readily available through YouTube or through just Google. Through a lot of books have a lot better kind of knowledge, and I think that's where a lot of people get their knowledge, which they apply in their courses. And he referenced people dressing up in suits, smoking a cigar in part of their group, which it sounded like he was kind of referring to the CEO of Testosterone, Jack Hopkins, which is what I took from the video. You always see this guy in a suit, he's smoking a cigar. Another one who sells courses for, I think, over £1,000 a time. I think he has his own kind of community, a bit older than Hamza's. I think they're around his age, 20 to 25, which is like $2,500 a year or something like that, which again I think is very overpriced. And I understand that. I feel like there is a need for a community feel, and maybe it is something that I'm considering in the future, but I think it mainly comes down to the pricing of these things and the stuff that they offer, and kind of what they value is probably not what you should be valuing, especially as a young man. So yeah, I think I very much do agree with his reaction, and I feel like it is time someone kind of like spoke up about these people selling very expensive courses and dressing up and just saying, oh yeah, just do this course, and then I can guarantee you'll be making $10,000 a month. It's like, you gotta. I'm always one for optimism, and I really do believe in just believing in yourself, and you can really achieve anything if you really like work on it and put your mind to it. But I think this type of stuff is very misleading. Just buy my $2,000 course and then you'll be set for life. You don't need to work again. I don't really like stuff like that. He has been saying that many men say that women are very degenerate nowadays. They're sleeping around, and this is exactly what they're doing. The men are doing this thing, and he basically just called them a bunch of hypocrites, and that's too right. He has every right to say this, and I think that is spot on, because for a long time I questioned this. I said that why is it okay for men to sleep around with these people, but all these men are calling out these women for doing the exact same thing? And then a lot of people would tell me that, oh yeah, men and women are different. And obviously, yes, they are different, and I do understand that point of view. But you can't call out women for doing that if you're going to do the exact same thing, because it just makes you an absolute hypocrite. And as Chris said, if you want a decent woman in your life, she's just going to walk away. She's not going to take you seriously if you're sleeping around with women and she's told that, well, you have to be with me and only me. Who do you think you are? Like some type of dictator or something? Like, these people live in a different world, and yes, they think maybe because I've got all this money and all this status, I've got this car, I've got this watch, I've got all the designer clothes, but at the end of the day, I think all of that stuff is so superficial, and for me it's just never really sat right with me, and I don't agree with it at all. I don't think that's the way we should be living. It's not fulfilling. It's not true happiness. It's not a way anyone should live their lives and get their kind of true happiness from. So Chris First Man has now decided to just focus going into real business. He says he wants to have his physical products, which he sells. I think his men's lifestyle supplements and a bunch of other stuff. And now he's focusing on his streaming platform, which I think he launched around a month ago. I'm going to check that out if you're watching, Chris. So yeah, I'll check it out soon. So overall, I'm really proud of Chris First Man for making this video. I feel like someone needed to say it, and it's been a long time coming, and I felt it a lot over the recent months, but I don't have the platform to say it as First Man does himself. And I feel personally, I've watched especially a lot of Hamza. I've been a big fan of his for about a year. I think I started watching it almost exactly a year ago, and I've probably been consuming his content daily for almost a year now, and I feel like the stuff he said, don't get me wrong, I want to make it clear that he has helped me a lot, and so the same with the Tates and E-Man as well. They're doing a lot of good for sure, but I feel that they have possibly made me lose track of my own thoughts and my own beliefs, and thinking that what they believe and what they say is the right way for me to live and how I should be living, and that's kind of probably left me with a bit of confusion. And I completely understand that a lot of guys who are younger than me, who don't really have actual world experience firsthand, they're going to get very confused, and this is what I really do fear. And myself, being a young content creator, I'm only 22 myself, and yeah, like I've made it clear, I feel like I've kind of gone to these guys because I feel I've never really had that strong father figure that I needed. So naturally, I've been drawn to these guys that have really helped me. And yeah, like I say, I'm very, very grateful for all the help that they've offered. But I'm very cautious of not getting put into this bracket of kind of all these young kind of incel self-improvement YouTube channels that just keep recycling all the content that they see from Hamza, from E-Man, from the Tates. And like I say, their average audience is a lot younger, and they tell these guys just start a self-improvement channel and all of this, and I'm just like, I don't think it's good advice for these guys. I've seen all these these self-improvement channels saying like, oh, how to be a top 1% man when they're like 17, 18, and they've never had a job in their life, and they've never had any first-hand, they don't know what life is at all. They're just are delusional, and I really do worry for these guys. They're just trying to be clones of Hamza. I see them doing like the same intro and stuff, and I'm just like, is bad. They're just recycling his content for views and views, and I find it very cringe, I can't lie. And I feel like a lot of these guys will be left very disappointed once they've recycled all this content after a few months of just posting all the stuff that he says or whoever says or whatever they see popping off and getting a lot of views, because they've got no authenticity. There's no personality there. You have to remember as a content creator that you are the niche, and people are investing in yourself. They're not doing it they're not really doing it because of the content you make. Obviously they're interested in that, but it's not just the video. It's more than that. And then they don't want another Hamza, they don't want another Andrew Tate, because they're always going to go to those guys who are themselves and a lot better at being themselves than you are and ever will be. So that was a bit of a side kind of rant, but I feel like Chris kind of covered that too. But it's just something that I want to say. So overall, I'm very sad to see Chris leave the kind of self-improvement men's lifestyle space, and I will very much miss his regular uploads. However, I really do think he has made the right decision to leave the men's space, self-improvement space, because he is right. I think it is probably going to go downhill in the next few years. With all these kind of young guys who think smoking a cigar and selling courses and wearing a suit and calling themselves a top 1% man is the way to go, and that's the way to live their life. And that it's a massive movement, because it's not as big as a lot of people think. Hopefully, yes, we want to see everyone better their lives, become the best version of themselves. But I feel like a lot of people are missing kind of the true value of self-improvement. It's not to go and smoke a cigar and wear a suit all day and scam people. That's not what I want to do, and I'm sure like Chris, he makes it clear that's not what he wants to do. It's not what he came into the industry to do. And I really hope that in any of my videos that you've watched previously, do not come across as one of those guys. Yes, I do post a lot of self-improvement content myself, and I always will do in some capacity, because I'm very much want to help a lot of young men out there with their struggles, as I experienced a lot in my younger life. I genuinely do want to do that, whereas a lot of these guys just want to make some quick money, sell a few courses, and kind of just live in Thailand and sit back and watch the money come in. But I want to branch out. I want to go into podcasting. I want to do a lot more travel content, as I've started doing in the future. I want to be an actual entrepreneur. I've got a big plan of what I actually want to do. I want to actually own something physical which people can use and get true value from, other than just a course that's just recycled garbage for £100 plus for thousands of pounds, that's not actually going to help them make any progress in the real world. So that's been my kind of reaction to Chris leaving, and a bit of my takes on some of the self-improvement kind of content that I've seen and influences over recent times, because I think it's definitely something that needs to be spoke about a lot more, because I do think it is heading downhill, and I want to make sure that my content doesn't get kind of tarnished and put into the same bracket as some of these people, because that's not, I don't want to just be a self-improvement YouTuber or content creator, because I want to do a lot more. And I know long term that you've got to have a plan, and you've got to be in it for the long run and create like that personal brand and that connection with your audience. And that's something that I'm very passionate at doing, and honestly helping you guys. So what are your thoughts on Chris First Man leaving the space? Very interesting. I'm very surprised to see it. Still a bit shocked, even it's about a week since he actually made the video, I think. So let me know in the comments below. If you could like and subscribe, really would mean a lot to me. And enjoy the rest of your day, guys.